Hi, this is Suzette, the Marriage Warrior, and today we're going to talk about the fact that there are 3 mistakes that can lead to marital separation. And when I talk about separation, I'm not necessarily talking about living in 2 different residences, but you can have an in-house separation and not even know it. In other words, you're not communing as a marriage any longer. The first one is resentment. And resentment is kind of sneaky. You don't always know when you're building resentment. If you're a person that represses emotion, resentment is probably building behind your back and you don't even know it's hiding from you. And so when you have resentment, the hidden agendas start occurring. Like, the things that you're saying inside of your mind, you start ruminating about, I'm not going to let him do this, or she's not getting this out of me, or whatever. Those little internal games that are going on is because you have resentment building in your soul and in your heart against the other person. And so resentment is something that you have to start journaling really to find out how to heal resentment. And if you need to locate resentment, when you journal, you want to be able to put some feeling words down and then write some paragraphs behind each feeling word about what are you feeling. Resentments come as a result of not finishing a topic of discussion that is confrontational. So if you know that you're trying to talk about something and someone doesn't hear you, or it's argumentative, or they deflect, or they blame shift, it's going to shut you down. And so when you get shut down, you are going to build resentment. And over time in a marriage, those walls, like their resentments are like bricks on a wall, and they're building. And before you know it, you have 2 people that are quite resentful and neither one of them know it. And then what happens next is you're going to be roommates. You're going to live in a roommate style, which is number 2. And so when you become roommates, that's because there's no real affect between each other anymore. The affection stopped. Sex may continue because it's a bodily function, it's a biological need, and a lot of times the men initiate the sex because of that reason, because oftentimes men don't have to be emotionally connected when they are having sex. They understand it's a biological need. So that might still continue for a little while, even in the roommate phase. But the roommate phase is not any fun, and it's not where the blessings of marriage can pour into, because you're just roommates. You're feeling like you're just bringing kids as a taxi to different things that they have to do, asking each other what's for dinner. You might even go on dates and still not feel connected. And what broke the connection was the resentment that was hidden behind each of your hearts against the other one. So you got to be able to work through that resentment by solving the issues, and you got to bring up the issues, and both people have to be willing to talk through the issues rather than get into a cycle that's so toxic and dysfunctional that everybody walks away from. There's a lot of stonewalling that goes on and silent treatments whenever you get into roommate stage. It's like, I don't have to talk to you. Then what happens after that is you stop prioritizing the other person. You start living your own life. You're no longer interconnected. You are now just independent. And so what you want to do, instead of being codependent, which is sometimes what marriages start off as, where, oh, I have a hole in me and you have the fix, and you have a hole in you and I have a fix. It's kind of the codependency. And what happens is we start getting in each other's way by getting in each other's lanes, that then people start getting offended and they start feeling disrespected. So what occurs after that is we start trying to talk about the issues, and then if we're stonewalling or having aggression or whatever, then resentment's building, then the roommate stage occurs, then the lack of priority, because then you just wind up living your own life inside of your marriage. Of course, the telltale signs of deceptive patterns of adultery, addiction, those kind of things, we know that those things will break a marriage and cause separation. However, these are the sneaky things that occur, and if you don't fix them, you will separate eventually. I hope this helps you. If you like this content of this channel, please don't forget to subscribe.